Myra, we thank you. 7:05. We turn now to a Fox Carolina follow-up. This morning, the Greenwood Police Chief is changing his stance on whether a woman should be released from prison. Last week, parole was denied for Tiffany Carroll, seen here. The Greenwood mom of 5 is now serving a 15-year sentence after she pled guilty but mentally ill to voluntary manslaughter. This was back in 2019 for the death of her boyfriend, Jamal Johnson. Since then, her loved ones and lawmakers have pushed for her release, saying she was a victim of abuse.
Well, one of the votes against parole cited a letter from the Greenwood Police Chief, and the chief says while he sent a letter in 2022 recommending against parole, he says that's not what he believes anymore. That letter citing Chief T.J. Chandon recommending against parole was brought up during that hearing. Now, he says that recommendation for a first parole appearance is common practice at the department, but the chief says he was not alerted of this latest hearing, meaning he didn't send in a letter. After the hearing, the chief has now sent a letter to the parole board changing his tune.
Well, in the letter, he says in part, quote, because of my initial email that I, being the representative of the Greenwood Police Department, still held the belief that Mrs. Carroll should continue to be denied, I want to iterate that this is not the case. He goes on to say, based on my best judgment, I cannot foresee that Mrs. Carroll should be released. She would be a danger to society. She has tremendous support from family and our community, which is crucial for a person to succeed after being released back into society. Well, right now it's unclear how those 2 no votes would have gone if this letter was sent before the hearing. Carroll is eligible for parole again next September, and her attorney, Travis Moore, filed a motion last week for the board to reconsider its denial. We'll keep you updated on what happens next.